Hi, welcome back to Parenting in Progress with Anna. So today I just want to address something. Recently, I saw this video where it was a dad, and he was showing all of the non-toxic and eco-friendly things that they were doing for their new baby. And it was things like all natural fiber clothing, buying cotton disposable diapers, and using wet cloths for wipes, using natural ingredient laundry, soaps, diaper creams, body wash, things like that. And the comment section was just full of trolls. And just people were saying, oh, the stuff you buy still comes in plastic, so it's not that eco-friendly. And, oh, you have to be rich to do this. And one person even said, oh, notice how before the baby came, they said they were going to cloth diaper, and now that the baby's here, they're only doing disposable diapers, almost like gotcha, you're not as good as you seem. And I see this, not just this video, but I see this all the time in the non-toxic and natural living spaces on social media. And even in real life, as I've encountered it, a lot of people kind of scoff at it and be like, well, but you're still doing these other bad things, so why is this one good thing even worth it? And it just drives me crazy. It annoys me so much because I think people do this for a couple of reasons. One, I think a big reason people are scoffing at this is because they just feel bad that they're not trying to make their lives better in that same way. And so they have to nitpick on these people who are trying so they won't feel guilty. And I guess the whole point of this podcast is I believe if you feel something is right for your family, that you should pursue it. And whether that's you've done research and done research on something and, you want to reduce microplastics or whatever, and you feel that that is what's right for your family and you want to make your family healthier, what a good thing. What a great thing to pursue. And another thing too is if you feel convicted by God to do something, like also what a wonderful thing. No one else, has any right to say what you do in your family, as long as it's not hurting your children or like actually hurting, right? Or hurting the world around you, like affecting the world around you. I say, what a wonderful, great thing to do. And it drives me crazy that people will not support or laugh at you as you're trying to just help your family and make your family healthier and better. And so if you've encountered that, push all the naysayers aside and do what you think is best for your family. And so I just want to share some things that I have chosen to do for my family that I have felt either convicted by God or done research and just felt that because I want a happy, healthy family, and me too. And I also know that I am constantly learning and changing my mind on certain things as I learn more information. And I think that's great that as we do more research and grow as humans, I'm only 25, and my health point of view and standards are very different than even just 5 years ago, what I was doing and what I felt was good for my body and my family and what I thought I would do for my family. So anyway, so I just want to get into it. Another thing that I want to mention is a lot of people feel that, I even went through this. I just felt it's very overwhelming at first when you get into this non-toxic living, that you see all this research about microplastics and fluoride and, all the things, and it can be overwhelming and you just feel like you need to just burn your house to the ground and build a house out of wood. You know what I mean? It feels very overwhelming. I need to get rid of everything and I don't have money to replace all this stuff that the internet's crunchy moms are telling me I should. And that's another thing that I think is not great is as I have gone through this process over the last 3 years of trying to make my home and our family less non-toxic and more natural is you can do it slowly. You're allowed to take a couple years, months and years to make these changes. And you don't have to throw away everything all at once. Like, use up what you have, and then instead of going and buying more of that, buy something, that's more non-toxic, or make it yourself. Or if you have plastic containers, like, slowly switch them out and ask for glass containers for Christmas or for your birthday. Ask for a wheat grinder for your birthday. You don't have to go and buy this and do this right now. And there's also steps you can take, right? For me, a lot of times what I like to do is I use up what I have, then I buy a less toxic version or cleaner ingredient of that, and then eventually I make my own, right? And that's like baby steps to get to where I want to be, which is making my own of that. So I think there are ways to do this without breaking the bank and without feeling overwhelmed. So some of the things that we've been slowly changing out, this is over the past 3 years of us being married. And the very first thing that I changed on that I was actually doing before we got married was cooking on cast iron. And this came from just doing research about non-stick, like Teflon, and how bad it is for you and getting into your food and stuff. And so that was one of the first switches I made, was to cast iron, and I actually love it. Like, you can ask my husband, I pretty much only cook on cast iron. I love it so much. I collect my cast iron. I want more of all the sizes. But I actually think it's easier to cook on once you figure out how, and I think it's way easier to clean. So I love cast iron, and it puts iron into your diet. It's been used for a long time, hundreds and hundreds of years. So I think cast iron's great. The other thing that we changed out pretty soon into our marriage was our toothpaste, actually. And I know this one's a little controversial. I don't really care. Do what is right for your family. But my husband and I both did research and read studies about fluoride, and I just had this strong feeling that we should not use fluoride toothpaste. And my husband felt the same way. And so we used up the last of our Crest, and I bought some fluoride-free toothpaste. I think the brand is Dr. Bronner's, and that's what we've used since. And actually, funnily enough, we both have had less cavities since using it. I mean, I don't really get cavities. My husband did, and he hasn't gotten cavities since we started using it, which is awesome. So that was another switch we made pretty early on. The next thing that happened, and by the way, I'm saying this all together, but this, like I said, this has been over the course of 3 years slowly. Like, this wasn't a boom, 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 I did this, the next day I did this. This is over a couple months or a year, right? The next thing was soap. And this, mainly this stemmed from me, just I wanted to make soap. Like, I was interested in that. I thought it looked cool. I thought it looked fun. So my in-laws, they actually have a hobby bison ranch, and they butcher their bison. And so I asked my father-in-law if I could get some of the fat from the butcher. And so he gave me so much fat. I have a freezer full of fat, which is amazing. And so I looked up and watched videos how to render my own tallow. And then from that tallow, I got some tips from a friend on how to make soap. And so I made my first batch of soap, and it turned out pretty good, I would say. And we've been using it since, and we gave it as some Christmas gifts, and people loved it. And I'm actually just down to my last bar finishing it up. So I'm actually rendering some more tallow today and making some more soap. As well as I'm going to whip it into a tallow moisturizer. Anyway, so that's another thing. And my husband, he also uses the bar soap that I made. And right now he uses a washcloth. Oh, so that brings me next thing. So the next thing we got rid of along with that was plastic loofahs. And I've known for a while that they breed bacteria and mold. I just really liked it, like the scrub I got with it. And so instead we threw those away. And like I said, my husband uses a washcloth with the soap right now, but I actually found a pattern for a crochet, kind of like a loofah. You put the soap in it. It's called like a soap saver. So you put the soap in it, and then with the soap in it, you lather it up and scrub with that. And then it has a little loop that you can hang it up to dry, and then you can wash it because it's cotton. And so I made that, and I love it. And I know my husband secretly uses it. He doesn't know I know it, but I know that he sneaks it and uses it. So I need to make him his own. So other things that we've done is we've got rid of all our plastic containers, our plastic plates and cups and spatulas, everything in kitchen, and switched to wood, glass, and metal. And I specifically, probably my favorite thing of that is I love my titanium cutting boards. And I also love our Corelle plates and bowls that we got. Another important thing I think is knowing what you can actually do. Like what's the word for it? When you set goals, they're obtainable, right? For example, we still buy laundry soap and dishwasher soap because right now with 2 little kids, that's not something I want to commit to making all the time. And also I know if I run out of that, sometimes I'm not going to have the energy or the time or the supplies to make it right away. And that's something we would need. So I personally still choose to buy those things instead of making them. And one day I would love to, but with a toddler and my little baby right now, it's just not in the books. And the same thing with cloth diapering. Before my first was born, then I even have them. I've used them like one time. I have cloth diapers and the inserts, and I did all the research and everything. But once we had the baby, it was way harder than I realized. And I still am probably not caught up on laundry since I had my first baby. Laundry is my nemesis. It is out of sight, out of mind for me in our laundry room. And I randomly am like, shoot, I need to do laundry. Anyway, that being said, that was a fight I quickly chose, a battle I quickly chose not to fight. And we just used disposable diapers. So I think choosing your battles is so important because for a lot of people or some people, they might choose cloth diapering, right, and say that's more important to them than making their own soap or switching out their spatulas or whatever. Like that's fine. It's what is important to you and your family and the battles that you choose to fight. A few other things I do is I make our own deodorant. I made our own lotion bars. I'm still working on lotion. The lotion bars I have aren't my favorite. Like I said, make the towel face balm. And I know a lot of crunchy moms, they thrift. But honestly, at this stage in my life, again, this is a battle I choose not to fight, it is hard for me and not enjoyable for me with my age of kids to go to the thrift store. So instead, I do Facebook Marketplace for some things. And I still buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, right? But really for clothes, we do for my kids. We've been given so many hand-me-downs from their cousins and also just from friends around. Hi, buddy. Speaking of battles and clothes, I would absolutely love to only wear natural fiber clothing and for my kids to only wear as well. But that's just not in our budget right now. Instead, every couple months, I bought 3 so far. I buy a new cotton dress, and I'm trying to slowly switch out my dresses to cotton, and I bought 1 pair of linen pants. So very slowly for me, I am switching those things out. I don't think my husband, for him, really cares about that. So I'm not worrying about, getting that for him. And for our kids, we've been given great clothes, and I would have to be a millionaire for my kids to always be in natural fiber clothing with how fast they go through their sizes. So That is another battle that I'm slowly fighting. And one day, hopefully, 50 years down the road, I will have all natural fiber clothing for myself. Another one, as much as I would love a garden and a reverse osmosis machine and so many other things, we currently rent a little townhouse with a tiny backyard, so it's just not in the cards for us. One thing that I just did is I recently just bought some 10-gallon grow bags, and I'm going to grow our own potatoes in them, because you can grow a lot of potatoes in a little space, and it's not that hard, and they're bags that I can kind of set along the back fence. And it's not really making a permanent change to anything. So there are ways that I can do these things little by little, and I am trying, but one day I would love a homestead. Like, that's my husband and I's goal, is to have like a homestead. I would love to have a little dairy cow. He laughs at me. I would love a dairy cow to make my own cheese and sour cream. And he laughs at me because I don't like milk. But, my kids love milk. Maybe I like milk better if it was all creamy and stuff. But so I have these goals, and I am slowly working towards them. And I think a lot of people have this false idea that you have to be rich and have this homestead and buy chickens and buy cows to make all your own things, or to live non-toxic or from scratch. But I am telling you, as a 25-year-old who lives in a little townhome in in a small town, but I'm not rural right now, I don't have chickens or a cow or a garden, but I'm able to slowly make the life that I want and learn the skills that I want, that hopefully when I do have that big that big homestead one day, that I'll already be knowledgeable and have the experience in those things. Anyway, so that's my little spiel, is anything you can do for your family to help them be healthier. I didn't even get into the food, right? Cooking from scratch and all groceries and all that, but anything you can do to help your family be healthier is wonderful. And really, the only person it's between you, your husband, and God. It's no one else's business. Like, I appreciate the people who share the videos, because I follow their tallow recipes and things like that. Like, I don't want people to stop posting, but I just wish people would be a little kinder. And that's all social media, right? I just wish people would support other families more, even if that's not something they want to do for their own family. Like, support other people who are trying to just make good lives for their families and healthier for themselves. So thanks for listening to my podcast. I'll be back next week with another one. Bye.